Welcome back. All right, so news of the day video for all you fine people for your Wednesday. We start off with the biggest news that's out there today. Rodion Amirov diagnosed with a brain tumor. It sounds like they caught it relatively early, and what happened was he was being treated for one injury, and he was showing symptoms that didn't match up, so they took him in for other tests, and it came back with the brain tumor diagnosis. He's being treated in Germany, chemotherapy, and so he is staying positive, which is important. He's staying very positive, citing other athletes that have had cancer diagnoses that have gone on to have long careers, Olympic athletes as well. Sounds like he'll be reaching out to some of these athletes too, and discussing their situation and what they've done and how they've gotten through everything. And so he's just staying very, very positive. The article even stated how he really wasn't talking about the cancer, he was talking about everything else, and how excited he was to be drafted by the Leafs and how much he's looking forward to joining them and all this. So he's got the right attitude. Also, his agent stating that if you want to reach out to him and send out best wishes to him, Amirov@goldstarhockey.com is the email address to contact in terms of contacting him and give again about positive wishes, best wishes, or sending him your own story. So he's a young kid, so strong immune system. Hopefully he's able to come through all this and play hockey as soon as possible. This season is done, but again, the health is more important than the hockey side of it. So he's got to get the health straightened out and then come back and play some hockey. Speaking of getting health straightened out and related to the Toronto Maple Leafs, of course, Jake Muzzin, who takes that fall against the Montreal Canadiens the other night, he is in concussion protocol. So that was the fear out of this, right? And so with Muzzin going into concussion protocol, there's the possibility that the Maple Leafs could put him on LTIR and look for a replacement that would leave them usually above the cap. But with him on LTIR, they may not have to worry about that. And again, from the looks of the injury, you might be better off going out looking for another defenseman anyways, because there's no timeline for a return for Jake Muzzin. And you might be better off just to hold him out for a while and make sure he's okay, and then shore up the lineup elsewhere, and then deal with the cap headache when he comes back. So we'll see what the Toronto Maple Leafs do, whether or not Muzzin's concussion is one of those ones that's going to be a long-term concussion, or if it's going to be a shorter term, and they're so unpredictable. So yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs will be a team to watch around the deadline, not just because they've already started making moves, but I don't think they're done. Interesting about moves and signings and all that. So I'm wearing my Orlando Solar Bears jersey because Sean Avery has signed with the Solar Bears. He's trying to come back. Now, Matthew Barnaby said in a tweet yesterday that if Sean Avery signs in Orlando, he'll sign for any other team in the division. And so Barnaby's up. So, 41 years of age, Sean Avery. He last played in the NHL in 2011-2012. I don't think this is an NHL level comeback. I think this is just a comeback to see if he can play hockey and see where he's at physically. So there will be those who might say, it could be a publicity stunt. Sure. But for Orlando, they've signed a player who's well known and people will pay to come out and watch him play. I wish him the best. I honestly think that coming back after the age of 40 to try to play hockey, it's not easy. The workouts would have to be a little bit longer and a little bit more strenuous because it does take longer to get into shape the older you get. Trust me. So, yeah, all the best to Sean Avery. And I never thought I'd see the day, but we're here. And, yeah, wish him the best with his attempt to come back and play for Orlando. And hopefully it works out well for him and for the team. So Carey Price news of sorts. The Montreal Canadiens will provide an update on Carey Price and his attempt to return on Friday. So, I mean, you can read the tea leaves and say, does this sound like a good thing that the team's going to provide this update on Friday? Is it going to be bad news? What's going to happen? So, and again, we've seen this with Ben Bishop. We've seen it with Tuukka Rask, something with goalies, right? Where you try to make that comeback and sometimes the body just won't react the way you want it to as you get older. And so for Carey Price, we're going to see whether or not he's getting closer to a return or if he's still in the same spot, right? So I wish him all the best as well. Price has yet to play this season. And so we'll see whether or not he's able to come back and play before the season's done, and what the plan is. If on Friday the announcement is he's not getting better, then what's the plan going forward, right? Zdeno Chara. Speaking of players that are older, and there is definitely a theme with some older players here. Chara in his next game will set the record for most games played by a defenseman in the National Hockey League at 1,652. So definitely there should be a video on that topic and on some of the defensemen that have had the most games played. And I'll focus on ones that I watched in my lifetime. But yeah, it's an impressive record. Playing defense, of course, you're taking, I would say, more punishment than the forwards in general. You probably play a lot more ice time than the forwards in general if you're a defenseman. So it's impressive when they play that many games. And when you consider how Chara's career started and everything that's gone on along the way, the fact he's still playing is just fantastic. We can all admit he's not the player he was, say, 10 years ago, but he's still playing. And it is remarkable that he's played that many games. So, yeah, there'll be a video related to that once he's broken the record, which will be their next game. Jujhar Khaira is out for the rest of the season for Chicago after having back surgery. So we are at that point in the year where there's only 2 months left in the season. So if somebody has an injury that's an 8 to 10 week timeline, and if it's a team like Chicago where they're not making the playoffs, you can just say out for the season. So back surgery for Khaira. Hopefully he's healthy and fine, good to go for October when next season gets going. For Khaira, I think it's been a pretty good fit with Chicago. Overall for his game, I think it's worked out pretty well. I'd be kind of surprised if he's not with Chicago still in October, but I do think Chicago's going to make some changes in the offseason, and so we'll see what the roster looks like come the fall. Nathan MacKinnon will not play tonight. It's a lower body injury for him, so he won't be playing against Detroit. We'll see if that makes Detroit's odds a little bit better against Colorado, but Colorado plays pretty well without MacKinnon. You then put Kadri on the first line, and then Kadri gets a bunch of points. So we'll see what happens tonight. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happen upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.